On the phone line is a gentleman who's, I've been saying, pounding this desk. We've been on the air for what, 6 years, Chris? Here?
Correct.
Okay. I have been fortunate to be an NFL Network employee. I think I was like employee number 3 being hired there back in the day. Since 2003, I've been at many Pro Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and one should have happened, obviously, earlier this month. But it was supposed to be the one with the huge centennial 100th year, 20 members of the incoming class for 2020. And if, obviously, due to COVID-19, that has been postponed. And this gentleman didn't hear his name called again. And I keep saying over and over and over again, this guy deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he heard his name yesterday, named as the finalist for the new category that's been created for at least the next 4 years to try and make sure that people like him hear their name called, because they deserve to be enshrined, but sometimes get lost when you're throwing coaches in the same category as players and contributors, owners. Steve Sable, as you know, is a contributor. He's finally heard his name called. At any rate, this gentleman won 2 Super Bowls as a head coach for the Oakland Raiders. This was after John Madden, Pro Football Hall of Famer, did it for Al Davis, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Also, he backed up Len Dawson as a quarterback, Hall of Famer, for Hank Stram, Hall of Famer, in Super Bowl IV. A playing career of note, and then a coaching career that is Hall of Fame worthy. Thrilled to have the 2021 finalist for enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the coaching category, Tom Flores, here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just listening to you. I'm old enough to remember Alfred E. Newman.
And I know. I wish you had the probably. It was straining you to have the "what me worry" over this very subject for all those years. But what was it like to get this phone call yesterday to say that you're a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And I should say that that you, more often than not, usually, more than just usually, this does lead to enshrinement and getting the check mark from the committee. What was this phone call like for you, Tom, yesterday?
Well, when it finally happened, it was a little emotional when it finally happened. When I talked to David Baker, because it doesn't really matter when, it matters if you get in. Although I've been a little impatient and I've been a little reluctant to get excited because of what's happened the last 2 or 3 years, but still, it looks like this is going to be it. And I got a little emotional and got tears in my eyes and just started thinking about the 60 years that I spent in professional football.
60 years, no question about it. Who did you think of? Anybody in particular, Tom?
No, I just go back to the first. It's interesting. I went back to the first day. I did an interview the other day, 1960, Santa Cruz, California, first day of the existence of the Oakland Raiders. We didn't even know where Oakland was at the time, and we were having training camp at a high school in Santa Cruz. And I said, well, this AFL, let's see what happens. Where is Oakland anyway? And we were playing in San Francisco and for 2 years, and we said, give it a shot, see what happens. I got the rest of my life to work doing something else. I had a teaching degree at the time, and here we are 61 years later. And, wow, a lot of things have happened.
First time you met Al Davis was when, Tom Flores?
63 when he came to Oakland. And he came from the San Diego Chargers with Sid Gilman. And the very first time I met Al, it was I liked what he did. I mean, we were introduced, and 10 minutes later we were on the chalkboard talking football, passing game. And it was fun to talk to him about it because he was football, and more football. So he taught me a lot, and he really rescued the Raiders because we were in a downspin.
So he was on the grease board. It was a short passing game, right, Tom? Just short passes, just little short passes, quick.
No. He wanted to go down. Yeah, he wanted to go downtown, boys. He He said, "Bull with all these little dinks. Let's go downtown."
Right, I bet. So, so then, getting into coaching, was it Al who called you to get you into coaching? Was it Madden? Who actually hired you when you were an assistant for all those years under Madden for as the wide receiver coach? And man, the Hall of Famers that you coached at that position during that time. How did that get started for you?
Well, I really didn't want to retire from playing, but nobody really wanted me after I left Kansas City. So my first year coaching actually was with Buffalo as a short-time coach just for the season. And then I came back to California, my home up in the Bay Area, and Al and I always remained friendships, and he always. So I called him and I said, "I'm looking for something, and I'd like to stay in football if I can." And so Al set up a job, an interview with John Madden. So I interviewed with John, and the two of them hired me and went to work right away, coaching the wide receivers and Hall of Fame quarterback Fred Volotnikoff, which I had thrown his first pass to when he was a rookie. So I played with Fred, threw him his first pass, first drop, first touchdown, came back, coached him, became head coach, and cut him. How's that? I went the whole cycle with him.
I was about to say you run the gamut, Tom Flores. That's for sure.
Yeah,
what was it like being interviewed by John Madden for a position in that room in 1972?
Pretty casual. Pretty casual. I mean, he talked about this and that, and we got on the blackboard a little bit. But I think mostly he wanted to. I think he realized that going, with Al's advice, because I had played for Al, and I knew the system, I knew the offense, I knew the Raider way. So I think he just wanted to get to know me because I didn't know John that well at that point, and we ended up spending 8 years and very close, long days, long nights, and through a glorious Super Bowl year for him. And so when he retired, I was fortunate enough to still be there and get the job. So it was, we had 19 straight years with only two coaches. That's pretty rare nowadays.
No question about it. And so were you surprised when Madden decided to retire, Tom, and you got the job? Did that catch you by surprise? He's such a young man when he retired.
I was surprised, but not totally, because I saw him in agony when he was suffering from an ulcer that he had and other things. And he had just, it was time. 10 years, it was time for him to step away, and he stepped away big time.
He sure did. I know. The crazy thing is when he finally got into the Hall, people were wondering, did he get in as a coach, a broadcaster, or a video game impresario? I mean, he's been something else. Tom Flores here on the Rich Eisen Show. Super Bowls 15 and 18, the winner of those two Super Bowls, the head coach of the Raiders, 83 and 53 in the regular season, including 8 and 3 in the playoffs on top of all that, right here on the show. Winning that Super Bowl, did you realize the momentous moment it was for you and for people like you, Tom?
No, you don't think about it. When you're in the middle of the battle and you're in the middle of the playoffs and the excitement and the emotion up and down, the roller coaster ride, I call it, you don't think about anything until it's all over. Then when it's all over, you realize what you've done. You say, wow. That's all you can say is wow, because what do you do? Now what? Well, now what is to do it again? You have to do it again, because that's the life of a coach. You win, and then you try to win again, and then you try to win again. And I never dreamed that I'd ever be on that stage in my lifetime, when millions of people all over the world are watching you, and you're coaching this team from little old Oakland and winning.
As the first
Pretty exciting.
head coach of Hispanic descent, first minority head coach to win a Super Bowl. You were also the first Hispanic starting quarterback in the National Football League. Do you think you've blazed a trail, Tom?
Well, I like to think it. I didn't think it at the time, and I didn't realize until later in life when I was later in my career, I should say, when I was traveling around certain areas, and people would come up of Hispanic background and said, we watched you coach the Super Bowl 15 or 18, and my dad cried. And I said, really? He said, yeah, he was so proud. And I didn't even know the person's dad, but he was so proud because of what you did. He cried. That was pretty special when something like that happens.
And you beat the Eagles in Super Bowl 15 and then Washington in Super Bowl 18. Were you the one who drew up the Marcus Allen pirouette? Tom, was that you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we practice that every day.
The spinorama and 74 yards later, touchdown?
You're going to go down there, you're going to turn around, spin around, come back this way, and then you're going to pick up Jim Plunkett as a blocker.
And speaking of Jim, Tom, it's time to get him in too, don't you think?
Yeah, Jim. He wasn't in a lot of Pro Bowls, but he did win 2 Super Bowls. He did Rookie of the Year, and he made big plays in big games. So, hopefully at some point in his lifetime he'll share that experience too.
Well, I mean, not many first overall drafted quarterbacks wind up winning 2 Super Bowls, Tom. I mean, it's really kind of that simple. I mean, you could really just, when somebody comes in with such hoopla and such promise from one team, winds up with another, and then wins 2 Super Bowls. It's quite a story that Plunkett has put together. And one with you too.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't be happier for you, Tom. I really couldn't. I mean, seriously, it just even in the 12 minutes that we've talked, just walking through, we didn't even talk about you being a player for Hank Stram and backing up Len Dawson for a Super Bowl. I mean, your football life is something that is so unique. It deserves to be enshrined, and I couldn't be happier for you.
Well, Rich, I appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Thanks for all the kind words. It's really it's exciting, and I'm not going to get too excited yet because we have a year to go.
I know.
This pandemic thing has screwed everything up.
Well, I hope you're staying safe and staying healthy and staying well best you can, Tom.
You too.
Thanks for the call. Congrats again for that call you got from the Hall.
You bet. Thank you.
That's Tom Flores. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.